Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are talking about Middle and Old English. This is the Indo-European language family. It stretches from the north of India all the way to Western Europe. Almost half of the global population speaks an Indo-European language. And that includes you and me. English is an Indo-European language, especially part of the Germanic branch of the family, along with languages like German, Dutch, and Swiss. The early 5th century, the Romans, who had ruled over England for over 400 years, and the north of Germany ventured onto the island and slowly replaced the Celtic and German-British cultures that had been dominant in the area. Celtic speakers became concentrated in Wales, Scotland, and Cornwall, while the area we now know as England became cultural Germanic. The Germanic peoples in Britain, while from a number of separated tribes, eventually developed a common cultural identity as Anglo-Saxons, and with the Anglo-Saxons our story truly begins. The Anglo-Saxons in their many kingdoms spoke in a language we now call Old English. Old English really sounds nothing like our modern language and largely incompatible to us modern speakers. Here's an example of the language from very popular writer Boyful het we gedene in gedegum. Pede prim gefelunan, Huda abdegings elen fremedon. So, I assume you understand none of that. Not to worry, no modern English speaker would be able to understand it, so old, and English has evolved so much that it may as well be foreign language well to understandable today. Half of our most commonly used words come from this Anglo-Saxon tongue. Words like water, child, ear, talk, and the. Basically, most short, simple words come from the easiest Old English language. Now, Old English was not a statistic language, no language ever are, but most of the major changes to the English language shows its history come not from within but from without. The first major influx of change to English came with the Vikings invasions on the 18th century onward. Norsemen from Norway and Denmark invaded north of England and even set up a kingdom, their own called the Danelaw. These Vikings spoke a language called Norse, which is the ancestor of the modern Scandinavian language. Its influence on English was mostly vocabulary, with words like sky, bag, low, heat, and even day coming from Old Norse. In 1066, William the Bastard, later called William the Conqueror, invaded England with his Norman army and at the Battle of Hastings successfully conquered it. The Normans, now the ruling class of England, spoke a dialect of Old French. This Norman French came to be the language of the royal court, while Old English continued to be the language of the peasantry. After around 100 years of this, the two languages began to merge, creating what we call Middle English. Middle English. If you have ever wondered why English, a Germanic language, has so many cognates with Romance language like Spanish or French, this is why. A whopping 13% or 10,000 English words are language like French in origin. These words are most commonly seen in the spheres of law, religion, and science. French This French connection is also why English has so many words that mean the same thing. called synonyms. If you look at an English dictionary, it's almost always much larger than dictionary of another language. The most